Hello. Thank you for having me, and I'm very pleased to be speaking to so many medical professionals today. I'm going to try and use my 5 minutes to answer the question that I get asked most often, which is, how did you do what you've done? What are the big changes that you've made? Now, I'm aware that there's something of a friendly rivalry between medics and vets. So I went to our vets and asked them how I should approach today's speech. Speak clearly and use simple language. That's the polite version of what they said. But I thought about it, and really, that's the big change we've made as an industry. Speaking clearly and using simple language. And we had to start that with ourselves as well. Within our industry, within any sector, I'm sure you find it yourselves, that you're interested in it. And you talk to other people and you get into the technical detail. But the person sitting next to you is not the person you want to convince. The person you want to convince is somewhere outside your sector, unknown what their interests or knowledge is. And this isn't only about complexity. Quite a lot of our journey has been about perception. I'll use an example that came up today, and I hope the speaker will forgive me for bringing this up. The first presentation put up a slide with the animal population of the UK, of which chickens formed quite a large chunk. And the comment that went along with that was, we all know chickens use quite a lot. Do we? Who knows? Who in this room knows? The point there being that actually we don't know. And this is one of the learnings we had in our processes. We don't know that much really. And we need to be very careful about what we, as a poultry meat industry, as an agricultural and food sector, very careful about what we presented both to each other and to the outside world. If anybody's interested, it's about 14 tonnes in 2017. I'm sure somebody in the room can tell me how much was used in human health. But the point about this is that it's not a competition. And that was one of the things that came up very early in our discussions when we decided as an industry, and this group of big companies, to focus on delivering excellence in bird health and welfare as a route to reducing antibiotic use. The reduction of antibiotic use was never the ultimate aim for us. We wanted to put in place systems and processes that actually delivered that reduction, but also reduced the need for the use of antibiotic. And a lot of that was around mindset change. It was both individuals and corporate. So across the industry, we had to engender a new way of thinking that was non-competitive, that was collaborative, that was willing to change, that was willing to acknowledge that we were wrong. Because that's from the outset, okay, practice back in, when we started this exercise back in 2012, the practices were not what they should be. They weren't good enough, and we've changed. So while we've achieved, as you can see, an 82% reduction in the use of antibiotics since 2012, and we've stopped using antibiotics prophylactically, and we've controlled the use of critically important antibiotics. But what's achieved this is a change in mindset. That's both having champions on the ground, the farmers, the vets, but also embedding it at boardroom level so that it's an agenda item on companies' board meetings. We've always said that zero use is not an option. Responsible, ethical treatment of animals will require antibiotics into the future. So we're in a position where we have to ensure that our antibiotic therapies are used as part of good husbandry. We often say only when necessary. But all of this is all of this is fantastic, but if we cannot communicate this, both to our farmers and our practitioners and our vets, then how on earth are we going to present it to the outside world? Today, here today, we're engaging with the human health sector for the first time. And I hope that I've put across to you the good work that the poultry meat sector is doing in this country. So if you take home one message from my speech, is that speak clearly, use simple language, engage wherever you can, talk to anybody, but very importantly, talk to people outside of your sector. That's what we're learning, and we've learned a hell of a lot, and we realise we've got a long, long way to go, because we're running into new problems about patterns of antimicrobial resistance, how we challenge those in our sector and their effects into the human health sector. So we've got a long way to go, freely acknowledge that, but the journey we've made so far, I think, has been a really good demonstration of what an industry or a sector can do working together. Thank you.